dear to our hearts and to our souls, and that's food, Philippine food. I would just mention that we had a food program not long ago that some of you were aware of, and that involved replicating a 100-year-old feast that was put on in August of 1916 by Manuel Quezon here for some congressmen, including William Atkinson Jones, who authored the Jones Act and for whom the Jones Bridge is named. But it was an important historical moment, and that's what the U.S. Philippine Society tries to do, is to learn about, we're for education, and that was an educational event. But when the word came out that we were doing food, the Washington Post got very excited because they said, Philippine food is really hot now. And I said, President Quezon made sure that he had French food with a Southern American U.S. flavor to it. And it was very, very special. And it involved nothing but, what was hot in those days. And that was really an international menu. It worked very well, and everyone was impressed, white ties and all. But the Washington Post was very disappointed because they said, couldn't we put some Philippine food into that sort of very modest replica dinner we did? And we said, well, we're going to be true to the history, and I think our friend Professor Erwin Tiongson, who will be here shortly, I think, did she, right? But at any rate, he and Richie were the spark plugs for that, along with some other folks. And so what happens now is that we're delighted to get to the real deal, which is Philippine food. So I would just say a word for those of you who aren't familiar with the U.S. Philippine Society, that it's a fairly new effort. It's a nonpartisan, independent, bi-national organization that tries to inform American audiences about today's Philippines. And part of that is revolves around culture and the arts even. We've done some things with a basketball program. We do a lot of heavier issues, governance, economics, business networking, that kind of thing. So if you're interested, please see Lucille Ferrara in the back, or me later. We can give you links to the website and that kind of thing. But enough of that commercial. Right now, it gives me great pleasure. Well, let me just mention that how delighted we are to be here in the Romulan room of the Philippine Embassy. What a wonderful spot this is. It's a beautiful place on Embassy Row in Washington, together with the Rita M. Cacas Foundation. Really has brought an all-star group here tonight. But let me just stop there. But it gives me really great pleasure, personal pleasure, to introduce Ms. Darell Artates, who is the Public Diplomacy Officer for the Philippine Embassy, to be the one who will kick off this evening. Thank you.
Click your own slide.
Yeah.
Yes. Just very much the spirit of Philippine food, right? Okay. So Ms. Rita Cacas and members of the board of the Rita M. Cacas Foundation, of course, U.S. Philippine Society Executive Director and the Master of Ceremonies for tonight, Mr. Hendrickson, Ms. Tichi Tiongson of the Philippines of the Potomac Project, distinguished panelists, guests, and friends from the Washington, D.C., Metro D.C. communities. Ladies and gentlemen, magandang gabi po. Good evening. It gives me great pleasure and honor to welcome you to the Romulan Hall of the Philippine Embassy and to convey the warm greetings of the entire embassy team. Of course, our Charge d'Affaires, Minister Patrick Chiwasoto, would also like to convey his regrets for missing this exciting event as he had to participate in official meetings in Manila. Culinary diplomacy, or gastro diplomacy, has been a major thrust of the Cultural and Heritage Promotion Program of the Embassy this year. So last May, apart from the recreation of the Jones Law dinner, the Embassy joined for the first time the Embassy Chef Challenge, which brought attention to the flavors of the Philippines, or as Chef Cloud Tayag, the competing chef, calls it the linamnam of Filipino food. The exquisite pairing of Chef Cloud's bringhe, or the Filipino version of the arroz valenciana, or paella, paired with the special cocktail by Filipino master mixologist Enzo Lim, actually bagged for the Philippines the People's Choice Award in that competition. Not bad for a first timer, right? And it's the people's choice, meaning it's the people who were there to taste the food that voted and so proved the accessibility of Filipino food. So apart from the taste and the presentation of the dish, the guests at the challenge raved about the enthusiasm and the pride infused into the Philippine entry to the competition. So this exuberance of spirit is what ultimately unites the many faces of Philippine cuisine. Here in the United States, our cuisine is steadily gaining ground in the mainstream, as will be discussed later on. So the two panels in this year's edition of Istorya DC aim to take a look back and a look forward on this journey so that we may be able to gain higher appreciation of what has been achieved so far and what remains to be done in terms of introducing our food and appealing to the different palates in the U.S. The diverse experiences of the speakers, as well as the skills of the moderators, guarantee a lively and informative discussion. And so the Embassy thanks them for their generous participation. We also look forward to viewing the keynote speech of Ms. Amy Besa, co-owner of the popular Purple Yam restaurant in New York City. You might be familiar with her. She is a pioneer of Philippine gastrodiplomacy in the United States. Ms. Besa's gracious acceptance of our invitation to keynote this year's Istorya DC, despite her being in the Philippines, demonstrates once more her passion for this cultural advocacy. The Embassy likewise expresses its deep gratitude to the Rita M. Cacas Foundation, the U.S. Philippine Society, the Philippines on the Potomac Project, the Filipino Cultural Association of the University of Maryland, and all the sponsors for contributing their time, their talent, resources to make this symposium a fitting and meaningful celebration of October as Filipino-American History Month and Archives Month. Finally, to all of you who came out this Thursday evening to be with us, maraming salamat po. Thank you very much. You may tweet this event using the hashtag Istorya DC 2016 and tagging the organizers. It's at Philippines USA for the Philippine Embassy and as US Phil Society for the US Philippine Society. You can search actually all the other handles of the participating organizations. Chef Darell Artates said, Filipino food is meant to be shared. And so let's start sharing now. It gives me great pleasure to introduce and to invite to the podium at this point the main driving force behind this event, the president of the Rita M. Cacas Foundation, Ms. Rita M. Cacas herself.
Oh boy, thank you so much, Darell and Hank, for such a warm welcome. Good evening and welcome to the second Istorya DC Symposium. On behalf of the Foundation, I'm humbled and frankly at this point overwhelmed because there's now a standing room in the back of the people who came here tonight. Many of us are here to celebrate Filipino-American History Month, and there are even some archivists and professional history researchers here in the audience who are here to celebrate Archives Month. But let's face it, most of us are here to celebrate Filipino food, right? In fact, we chose a very popular week to talk about food because apparently all over DC this week, the symposium is competing with a bunch of food history events, such as the one at the Smithsonian, and I also understand there's an event, a big event at Constitution Hall with the veteran executive chef and author Anthony Bourdain. This year's symposium is dedicated to the memories of two beloved DC Pinoys. Minutes are crying. My brother Max, who was our speaker last year, he died suddenly. I'm so sorry. He died of a heart attack in December. But we also many of you know Joe Montano, who also died unexpectedly in July. Take a look at the table over there with some writings about this because I'll just completely continue to start crying if I keep going on. So we have a packed schedule and I've only been given 3 minutes. There are a handful of people to thank publicly. You know who you are, and I'll come to thank you in person as well. But for now, I'm talking about, I'm going to thank my mother, who's she's sitting right over here. Her birthday is tomorrow. Mom turns 88. My uncle Jaime, who always insists on sitting way in the back. Wave, uncle. He brought 300 lumpia today. 300. So there is plenty of food back there. I know, how do you get 300 lumpia? I thank my husband and our faithful photographer Chris way over there. And scores of friends and family who've encouraged me over the years to continue documenting the early DC Filipinos. Many of you have generously contributed money. You've donated your family records for preservation in our new Filipino-American Community Archives at the University of Maryland. And actually our curator and the library assistant are here. Liz and Eric, why don't you stand up there? They're the curators for our archives, you guys. And we'll happily give tours to whoever is interested in coming out to Maryland to see them. Our archives grows and grows with each new family that we visit and help clean out the stuff in the house. No, we don't. That wasn't in my work. That wasn't in Philippine. Many thanks to the embassy, especially Darell Artates, who without hesitation agreed to host the Istorya Symposium here in at the embassy in the Honolulu Hall. Thank you to our co-sponsors, Hank at the U.S. Philippine Society, RMC, and a special thanks to Lucille Ferrari, who helped with our event planning to make sure that this day happened. And thank you to the Philippine Culture Association. I think they're actually having a board meeting tonight, so they're not here. But they were also our sole co-sponsors for our event last year. So imagine how really fantastic this year has become for us, for co-sponsorship. And especially a huge thanks to the local restaurants who have generously donated food for our reception table. I'm not going to read off all the food that they brought because I don't want people to start getting hungry way before you get to hear the speakers. I want to thank the foundation board members for continuing to believe in what the foundation is all about, and that's preserving our history, the history of Filipinos here in DC. I especially, and I wish that, is Erwin here yet? And he's going to have to listen to the recording because I want to give a special shout out to T-Chi, our foundation secretary and treasurer, and her husband Erwin, also on our board of directors. We have a really great all-star team, as Hank was saying, who have been the most amazing partners in this journey. For their sincere interest and earnest research skills, believe me, they always correct me. Oh, so my next line was for politely correcting historic errors and keeping our work honest. For being busy work professionals and parents to their two sons, Nicholas and Raphael, who are sitting over here actually. And through their Pop DC project, they managed to devote time, research, and preserve and share our history, our DC Filipino history. So I hope you enjoyed this evening as we celebrate Filipino-American History Month and Archives Month. It's not on the schedule, but we have another huge surprise to present to you after the first set of speakers. So I'll just say right now, salamat and many, many thanks to each of you for coming here and spending your evening with us. And now we're going to look at the video, the recorded keynote